Justin Fields has been named as a starting quarterback again in Week 2 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Luis Arias on 120 straight plate appearances without a strikeout. How is that even possible? And we get to the NFL Week 1 Power Rankings. All of that and more right here on Coast to Coast Sports. But I want to start talking about some quarterback play. Particularly the injured quarterbacks that came back in Week 1. There were 5 of them. Rodgers, who we see right now. And then we saw Kirk Cousins with the Falcons, Anthony Richardson with the Colts, Burrow with the Bengals, and Deshaun Watson with the Browns. And all 5 of them, there was a lot of rust. I mean, it was very rusty for all 5 of these quarterbacks. Let's start with Rodgers, of course, coming off the ACL. The worst of the injuries he and Kirk Cousins both had to deal with. Aaron Rodgers, he had his moments. But ultimately, just 167 yards, 1 touchdown, 13 for 21. And he didn't move at all. He's not going to run around, I don't think, at all throughout the season. But the bigger thing is I didn't see enough from his arm. I need to see Aaron Rodgers throw for 250 yards in a game. I need to see him throw for 300 yards in a game. Since his MVP campaign in 2021, Aaron Rodgers has not thrown for over 300 yards in a game. He didn't do it a single time in 2022. Of course, he missed last season, so it has been 1,000 days since he's thrown for 300 yards in a game. That's crazy. And Tyrod Taylor looked better. And of course, it was the end of the game, and the Niners were probably tired and had their backups in. But Tyrod Taylor outplayed Aaron Rodgers. And that is a legitimate fear. That's a legitimate concern. I think Aaron Rodgers will get better. But that's Aaron. Let's go to the next one. Kirk Cousins. Same injury as Aaron, suffered it a little bit later. Kirk did not play well. He simply didn't. 155 yards, even fewer than Aaron, 16 completions. 16 completions on 26 attempts, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, QB rating 59. He was sacked twice. Kirk looked very rusty. He looked like a quarterback who hadn't played a game in a very long time, and that's true, he hasn't, but, you've had practices. What is the preseason even for, if not to get these guys back to full health? Look at the Bengals. Look at what Joe Burrow did. Not good at all. Again, 21 for 29, 164 yards, 86 QB rating. Got sacked 3 times. At least he didn't turn the ball over, though. That's the good news for him. He didn't turn the ball over. He still didn't play well. With the 164 yards, they didn't throw for yards at all. That was a big kind of theme. Was none of these quarterbacks coming back from injuries threw for many yards. Richardson, I thought, made some good plays. He's still, though, 9 for 19, so below average completion percentage. 212 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, and a rushing touchdown. Richardson, I thought, looked like he was the best of all of them. But he still looked rusty. Because he had about 3 big plays. He had the rushing touchdown, the passing touchdown, the big one to Alec Pierce, and he had that 54-yarder to Ashton Doolin. Other than that, he looked rusty, and perhaps worst of all, I'm worried about the Browns, man. Deshaun Watson, 24 for 45, 169 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, 6 sacks. He took 6 sacks. The Cowboys do have a great defensive line. Micah Parsons, obviously, we know this, but 6 is a lot. And a 51 quarterback rating for Deshaun Watson. Not great. What I would say is, don't read too much into it yet, because all 5 of them were coming back from injuries, but it's hard for me with all of them. for different reasons outside of Richardson. Richardson, I like. The other four, though, they're older guys. Deshaun has been rusty for a while. He just hasn't played enough. Kirk's old. Aaron is old. And for Burrow, he's fragile. He's been hurt 3 times now. He still might have an injured wrist. So that's a fear. I'm tentatively going to say I think Burrow will get back to normal. I think Rodgers won't. I do think he'll be better than he was last night or 2 nights ago, but I don't think we're going to ever see the MVP Rodgers come back, which is maybe that's just something we're going to have to deal with. And it sucks that we're going to have to deal with it because I love me some MVP Aaron Rodgers. But I'm not sure if we're ever going to see that version of him again. And maybe the Jets are going to have to find a different way. They need answers. Short term, 1 year, maybe Aaron can be their answer. I don't know about that in the long term.